Hi, my name's John.
And I'm Allie.
And when we finished Season 2 of Fruits Basket,
we thought it would be a fun idea to look back at Season 1
and talk about all the cool details that we may have missed from an anime only
and a manga reader's perspective.
So join us today as we talk about Season 1, Episode 6, Perhaps We Should Invite Ourselves Over. Welcome back to another episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. So if you like this kind of content, we would really appreciate it if you helped us to reach our goal of 7,500 subscribers by the end of the year. And to do that, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and why even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. Because we're going to be looking at the rest of Season 1 of Fruits Basket as a retrospective. So if you have not watched Season 2 yet, make sure to click off this video now because there will be spoilers. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
First of all, hello, it's nice to see you all again. We took a week hiatus, sorry about that, but we're back. Hello.
Glad to be back.
Yes,
Welcome.
We watched a new episode. We have the Culture Festival, and I mean, coming back to see Momiji and Hatori's beautiful faces, I mean, it was a great time.
Oh, I adore Hatori. Any episode that Hatori is in is immediately elevated.
Exactly, and this is your Hatori introduction, so you get to relive all of those butterflies of him walking in the room and immediately making Yuki go through a doctor's examination all over again. It's so good.
Which, this is where we actually learn about his bronchial issues, right?
Yeah, it is. And that gets brought up, and Yuki's all not happy about it. All of the Prince Yuki fan club is freaking out over him and Hatori.
Yeah.
That comment about Yuki taking off his clothes, and everyone, they're high schoolers, their mind immediately goes to the dirtiest place, and he's like, he's a doctor. He has to examine me. Stop.
You've seen me naked enough times. It's just no, doctor.
Yeah.
But I think that, the bronchial issues, coming up now is just such an interesting, minor little detail because, I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, some people have bronchial issues because of intense anxiety. The idea of heartburn, right, is essentially the stomach acid when you're super anxious sometimes. It can cause heartburn when your anxiety flares up and it gets into your bronchial tubes. The anxiety, that's a super, too long didn't read version of that. But, his intense, anxiety surrounding his very dark past, it kind of has manifested in this kind of physical way. And I think that's so interesting, or at least I imagine that's how it manifested. Maybe it was a genetic thing, but I think it would make a lot of sense for it to be that more psychosomatic kind of deal.
Yeah, and we see in Season 2 when he is greeting his mom for whatever that was, the parent-teacher conference. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he was meeting her and he starts to do his little cough when he's anxious about having the parent-teacher conference. And when he gets close to the Soma estate and he's freaked out and he starts coughing again. And his coughing seems to get way worse when he's in situations where he's anxious. So that makes sense. That does make sense.
Yeah. And so it likely flares up and he has a literal physical response to that anxiety, which could be known as heartburn to a lot of people. That may have corroded his bronchial tubes.
Yeah, just like Corpse husband. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who had GERD and it corroded his vocal cords. I haven't been watching Among Us videos nonstop. Okay.
No, never.
No.
No.
But then we have Hatori and he meets Tohru. And it's cute because he's been hearing all the rumors and he's built up Tohru in his brain. And he's like, oh, you're just a normal girl. And it's so funny because a lot of people have that reaction, Reen did, where she's like, but you're just a normal girl. And it's funny to hear, like, the rumor mill, and, like, how it all spreads to everyone. And it's hilarious because Momiji is a huge factor in that, where he'll, like, bebop around and he knows all the family inside out scoop. Like, he knows everything that's going on.
I just want, like, a spin-off series where it's just Momiji just, like, chatting about literally everything to everyone.
That would be so good. Gossip with Momiji. That'd be amazing.
Oh, like, you know, at the end of, like, Hunter x Hunter, when it's like Gon and Killua's Hunterpedia, it's like, oh, Momiji's gossip mill. Oh, I would love that, like a little short.
That'd be fun. I would really like that.
A Fruits Basket version of Mike's super short show.
Yep.
That's a Disney Channel reference. Hey.
Stop showing our age. Okay. We're so old. Okay. But after that, we have lots of tension between Yuki and Hatori because that PTSD is spicy today. Yuki did not
big spicy
have a lot of good memories with Hatori because Hatori erased the memories of his friends. So naturally, he's a little protective of Tohru in this moment because he's like,
can't imagine why.
Yeah, please don't erase her memories. She's like the first real friend I've actually had, so please leave her alone, thank you.
And I think it's so interesting, like, how well and how subtly this sets up the next episode, which is obviously when Tohru goes to the Soma estate to meet with Hatori.
Yes.
Which Yuki builds Hatori up as being, like, this kind of ominous figure that, in a way, is the source of a lot of Yuki's pain. That's not Hatori's fault, but just due to circumstance. He is the one who does the memory erasing, and so him being very cautious and weary anytime Hatori's around makes a lot of sense. It's genuine, and we see, because there aren't that many interactions between Yuki and Hatori that we see prior to that apology. But the ones that we do see, like, it's very telling, because why would Yuki trust him? This is the man who, when Yuki was a child, even though in reality Hatori was a teenager at the time, his arm was twisted into doing it. He probably didn't want to, and he's probably been carrying that with him since that day, because he knows that he kind of destroyed this child.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the baggage, the weight.
But we also get a lot of Momiji antics.
We do. My baby boy.
Of him low-key being the human embodiment of a bunny, just like everywhere, all at the same time. Like sitting on top of the rice ball stand.
I love his little comment when he's bickering with Kyo, and he's like, I bet you hug her all the time.
Yes.
That's so good.
And he literally calls out Kyo for liking her, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And, also another thing to note about Momiji, he's the first person that we have met who isn't, like, semi-embarrassed about being an animal. Like, he is so excited. He's the first person that willingly goes up and hugs Tohru. He is the only person thus far... no. Kyo does at the end of season 1. So the only two people who have hugged Tohru on purpose and transformed were Momiji on several occasions and Kyo once.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess I never realized that. Momiji's very loud and proud about his bunniness.
Yeah, and then we get Uotani and Hanajima. They're starting to pick up, like, okay, there's a lot of Soma relatives here, and Tohru is, like, chill with them, and this is weird. And, like, what's going on there? Also, her waves are different. So they're starting to pick up on it. And they go up to the rooftop, Hatori gets a photo, and Yuki has a nice moment with Tohru, which, so
which, him, I love these early Yuki Tohru moments because as he's like, I'm a boy, like I don't want to be cute after Kyo was kind of heckling him a little bit.
Yeah, girly boy.
Yeah. I always love these little moments because it shows how Yuki doesn't quite, this is the awkward Yuki phase. Because he like kind of is smooth, but like not really. Because anytime like Tohru is talking to him, in this instance, she talks about her mom and how she loves it when her mom calls her cute because it makes her feel loved. And Yuki's like, maybe I should call her cute so she feels loved. You're cute. Like,
yeah, and
or
then
like
that comes up again later when that really awkward scene with Yuki and Tohru when they go visit Ayame's shop in season 2, and Yuki had said, like, I bet if you were wearing this dress, you'd be cute, or something along those lines. And then later, she's in a dress, and he calls her cute.
Ooh.
The foreshadowing. Also, I have to mention here, Yuki is cute in a dress. I know there's been some online discussion about whether or not men can wear dresses. Cough, cough, Harry Styles, cough, cough. Both of them look good in dresses. Everyone looks good in a dress, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you are. If you put on a dress and you rock it confidently, like, do your thing. Honestly, like...
Please. So, Kyo,
please,
I'm gonna need
rock
you to
it loud and proud.
Tone down the masculinity, Kyo. It's okay. You'd look good in a dress, too.
But I also think that this moment's really cool with foreshadowing just because of the correlation of Tohru with her mom. Kind of coming into the relationship with her and Yuki, because as we know, he eventually like sees Tohru as a maternal figure. And so, well, I'm not sure if this is foreshadowing necessarily. It definitely gives like shades of what their relationship is to come, you know?
Yeah, because with what we know in season 2, the way that Tohru talks about her mom to Yuki ends up being like motherly advice. And so then it ends up painting the picture of like, oh, you are kind of giving me your mom's advice and I view you as a mother because you're helping me. And so it's like this big mom circle, you know? But with Kyo, he knew Tohru's mom and he probably has heard, we can imagine, at some point, some of the things that she's talking about if their relationship was super close, like you were theorizing. So you had theorized that he had already heard some of these lessons and that's why he says the same things back to her. So,
which we talked about in the last episode. I believe it was the last episode, when they saved her from her grandparents, and he essentially recited exactly back what Kyoko said to Tohru. The advice she gives to Kyo typically isn't from her mom. It's from her, because it's more of that like her and Kyo relationship, whereas like in the Yuki Tohru dynamic, just like you're saying, she is the maternal figure and she is passing down maternal advice, and that's what Yuki, while he's not interpreting it as maternal advice in this very moment, he's like, maybe she could be my mom. But like, in a way, I'm sure that somehow unconsciously that helped to formulate his perception of her.
Yeah. And then Yuki passes along some of his own advice, saying that she should not be alone with Hatori, which, you know, we'll see about that. I don't know what happens next episode.
But she's just, her track record in terms of following orders given to her, not great. No. Actually, I would say that if someone tells her not to do something, it's a surefire conclusion that she's going to do the thing.
Exactly. That's so funny about Tohru. It's like, Tohru's a goody two-shoes. She can never do anything against the rules. And it's like, Tohru's entire character is breaking the rules. What do you mean?
Like, maybe not societal rules, but if someone says, don't do that, she's like, so I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
After this, Uotani and Hanajima confront Tohru about the whole Soma situation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Tohru just lets it slip.
Secret's not her forte.
No. How she's kept the Zodiac secret, I don't know.
No, yeah, like...
But she just blurts out, I just live with him! And they're like, oh?
Oh, really?
Interesting.
And then they decide they're just gonna invite themselves over. But they're smart about it. Because if they don't expect them, there may not be snacks on hand, so they strategize a little bit with this self-invitation.
Of course, you have to make sure that there will be snacks available.
I mean, that's rule number 1 of going to your friend's house. Like, there needs to be good snacks. Whoever has the worst snacks, you never go to their house. Like, it's just a rule.
Exactly. Raid that pantry. Go wild.
Yeah.
So they're gonna sleep over, and they get to the house, you know. Tohru discovers that Shigure has a job writing books. He's an author. Author. Strictly
highbrow novels.
Absolutely beautiful. I love his save too, like, oh, sorry, not that one, this one.
Yeah.
And I forget who says it, but someone's like, that doesn't change the fact that you also wrote that one.
And Hanajima starts reading the...
Yes.
Oh, delightful. But then this is where Tohru leaves to go do something. Shigure leaves to go hang out with his girl Akito.
Spoilers.
Girl.
Spoilers.
And this is when Hanajima and Uotani have like a really nice moment with Kyo and Yuki.
Yes, it makes me cry because they're just looking out for their girl and they want to make sure that the boys understand her on a deeper level, and they do. They get it.
To an extent, they understand her almost better than Uotani and Hanajima do. Because while Uotani and Hanajima were the ones standing at the grave with Tohru after her mother's accident, they weren't the ones who have been in the know this whole time. And I think Yuki says it best. Miss Honda deserves the moon, but would never ask you for it.
Exactly. And they also end up mentioning that Tohru was their first friend and that she saved them, and that she puts in all the work in their friendship in their eyes. And I feel like that just so well describes Tohru. Not that other people don't put work into their friendships with her, because they do, but Tohru constantly puts herself in that position of a caretaker role where she has to watch out for these people, and she takes intense amounts of responsibility, and she would never ask for anything, but she deserves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's such a perfect, just this moment is just people taking her character and boiling it down to its, truest essence in terms of what's outward facing. We're not talking what's going on internal, we're not talking about the internal mechanisms, because there's a lot going on in there, I presume. But yeah, and then after this discussion, Tohru brings down a deck of cards so that they can play Rich Man, Poor Man.
And it's so cute because Yuki wanted to play and his little face lights up. He's so happy because Tohru remembered that he wanted to play and that he felt left out. And now she's like, oh, we're playing. You can split the deck. This is all you, buddy. It's so good.
It's so good because she is always looking out for everyone besides herself.
Yeah, that one needs some work. We'll get there.
Work.
Development, time to grow. She's a teenager, but the self-care
is dope.
Self-care,
we love
for her.
that.
So then we cut to Akito. We get some of that good early Akito action. Shigure's being real shady. He says, right off the bat, he just a real slap. Tohru is a much better person than you are.
And Akito responds with, I always ask for the moon.
Yeah. And I love the parallel, the contrast.
Ooh.
I love it.
I love how well they've kind of encapsulated Tohru and Akito, even just at the very beginning here, because as we continue forward, we really do see them as kind of mirror images of themselves, like completely opposite in so many different ways. And I almost wonder if they're going to kind of, once season 3 hits, be kind of a yin and a yang kind of thing, right? Tohru is the light, and Akito is like the dark side. But I think we'll see in season 3 that there's a little bit of dark in Tohru and a little bit of light in Akito, you know?
Okay.
Because, like I've been saying throughout the entire run of this podcast, or maybe not the entire run, but a good portion of it, I don't think that, while Akito has done some awful things, I don't think she's going to be irredeemable. I think that there's going to be a nugget of good that we find in her that has just been corrupted by whatever's happened, the circumstances of her life, which I'm sure, being a woman head of the family, having the god spirit in her, can't have been sunshine and roses. And as we know, Toru's got a lot of baggage that she's kind of coping with and has repressed and compressed and just pushed down as far as it can go. But if you push something down, it'll always come back up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I love that duality. And I'm so curious to see how they expand on it in season 3, you know?
Who knows? Secrets.
They have to.
Secrets.
They have to.
One thing. I think you knew this already, but like, and like if you spoke Japanese, you would know this already, but okay. Anyways, Toru's name is technically like a masculine name. Like you wouldn't name your daughter Tohru. It's like a boy's name. As is Akito. That's also a boy's name. So we don't know like the origins of their name or like why they got named that, like why their parents chose those names yet. If we do get that explanation, you know. But we do know that both of them technically have boys' names. So I don't know if that adds to your like parallel or like compare contrast little theory that you have about like yin and yang. Yeah. But they both have boys' names. So do with that information what you will with your theorizing. And I think you knew that because you're doing a video on Tohru Adachi. So yes. I think you knew that already, but just in case you didn't.
I knew about Tohru. I didn't know that Akito was a male name. But, quick plug, keep an eye out over the next week because there will be a video about Tohru Adachi from Persona 4. So if you like Persona, that's for you. Quick plug. All right, back to the episode.
Jeez Louise. Okay, after we see Akito, then we get the hat explanation. And Kyo's making a face in the hallway. He doesn't look at the hat. He just hears them talking about it. He's got his eavesdropping face on.
Yeah.
And as Tohru is reliving this memory, it immediately stuck out so intensely for me because her memory of it is so bright. It's like a lot of yellows, super bright. And then Yuki's memory of it is so dark and blue and gray. And it really shows you how differently they felt about the situation, especially when Tohru talks about it and she says, he's probably forgotten all about it by now. It was probably just another day for him. And it cuts to Yuki in his depressed, messy room, which like, oh my gosh.
Which like, how did I not realize in that moment that like, okay, because I was positive, well, I guess technically I wasn't wrong, that it was Kyo's hat, but like, I was positive it was Kyo's at this point, and he's the one that gave it to her when they were kids. But,
well, yeah, because
like, it literally flashed to Yuki.
Yeah, but they say that they think that Tohru will end up finding him and like falling in love with him. And at this point, you were like, okay, Kyo and Tohru are gonna end up together. Like,
that's true.
And so then if she's gonna fall in love with this guy, then it's gotta be Kyo's. And like, it is his hat. And as far as we know, they're like a ship that has sailed. But Yuki gave it to her.
Oh, don't even play like it's not a ship that has sailed. But, like, in reality, I have to wonder what's going through Kyo's head in this moment while he's hearing this description of the hat. Because since he knew Kyoko, and I assume, maybe I'm incorrect, but I assume he's seen Tohru around. And didn't Tohru as a kid, like, legitimately wear this hat? Like, afterwards? After the incident?
I don't think so. I don't think we saw that.
Okay.
I mean, I might be wrong, but I'm like nearly positive that she just... I like can't think of one flashback where she wears it.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. But like, then maybe he's seen the hat or something. Like, he might know of it. And he already knew about the situation. Because he doesn't look surprised.
I don't know.
Like, I think he's already aware that she has his hat. And I think he knows it's his hat. Which is very impressive because it's a very standard blue hat. But like...
So, like, how would he know that though? Like go through some scenarios. Would he have like, if she didn't wear it, if I'm right and there are no flashbacks of her wearing it, then like, how would he know?
I swear he's peeked through their window before.
We did see a flashback of that, and she was sitting at a table with her back to him, wearing like a little pink dress, and I think like, it was like a pink shirt with like a yellow dress on top of it, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And so he's peeked in before. So who's to say that after like she got the hat, that he wasn't in the area? Like, maybe he saw this whole, like, event unfold and he was cautiously watching from a distance. Or maybe he saw it as, like, she was walking in. Or maybe he peeked through a window and he saw the hat. I don't know. But I feel like around this similar timeline, he may have seen that that's where his hat ended up. If that makes sense. Because he was close with Kyoko. I don't know. I don't know. That's all. That's all I've got.
I'm happy you worked through it though. I wanted to hear what your thoughts would be. I wanted to see what theories you could come up with. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe I'm crazy.
But okay, so then after that scene, they wake up in the morning after their cute little like friendship, falling asleep. They make me cry. They're so cute. We wake up in the morning. I love you, Yuki. I love Yuki so much. He's a great character. I love him. He's so aggressive.
He is so aggressive. Like, he destroys Kyo in the morning.
And then he says, oops, looks like you spilled the milk. Go buy more. Like,
I'm just saying, he kicked him again. Just
he
saying.
did.
He
We're
did.
Noticing all of these things.
But and then Hanajima, because they forgot that those two were there, which, like, how do you forget that? But, like, I digress. Hanajima says, very accurately, like a cat and a rat.
Yup. It's so good.
And it's just like, oh my god.
Oh, hello, you're here. What do you know? What? Oh, okay, never mind.
I feel like she does know. I feel like she just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, part of me feels like she does know, and she's just like, animal people, I see waves, like, or I sense waves. It's a Tuesday. Like,
just like, whatever. They're nice to Tohru, who cares?
I wouldn't be shook if that was, like, just, like, a very aside reveal, where they're like, oh yeah, Hanajima knew.
She knew the whole time. But then we get ready for the next episode. Hatori calls. He makes a little threat. if you don't show up, I trust you know what'll happen. And he looked at the photo of Kana.
Gasp. What could it mean?
I hate that we both did the same thing. That was awful.
It was great. It was great. Keep it in. Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Well, we get hyped for the next episode. I know you're gonna, like, pee your pants because you love Hatori so much.
Oh, this is probably my favorite episode of season 1. Or it's up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, dope. So, looks like spring may be coming. That doesn't actually, that's not the case, but it's a quote from the episode. After this one, is there anything about the episode that you want to talk about?
Nope.
Alright, well, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. If you liked the video, you want to see more of this kind of content coming from the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, and why even ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure to share this video wherever you like sharing things, because honestly, it helps the channel out so incredibly much. But as always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.
See ya.